Hello, my beautiful people. Welcome to my channel. We are doing the D10 Career Job Series Talents, and now we are in Mrigashira Nakshatra, the head of a deer. Deer, as in the hunter, but who hunts in a soft form. Now, you can hunt for different things, right? Think of the deer in a forest grazing peacefully. That's Mrigashira Nakshatra at its best. It is soft, it is not violent, it is not aggressively seeking something, it is softly going through the trees, searching for deeper, softer meanings of life, the Devgana of Mrigashira Nakshatra. Think of these aspects when you think of Mrigashira Nakshatra, okay? Always remember to keep the nakshatra themes at the forefront of your mind when thinking even about career, even about Navamsha, Dashamsha, natal, any chart, okay? That's the main thing you got to get about every nakshatra. The Gana is Dev, the deity is Soma, the moon god being wavering in mind. Okay? And this shows up more prominently in the last two padas which are going into Gemini because it's a dual sign. Now the first two padas of Navamsha go into Taurus, the next two padas of Navamsha go into Gemini. That's Navamsha, Dashamsha might be slightly different. But for the sake of this purpose, this argument, we will consider Taurus and Gemini aspects of Mrigashira Nakshatra. What are the talents and abilities? These are the general points over there on the screen. Communication and media. They may excel in careers that involve writing, public speaking, media related professions. They may thrive as journalists, writers, broadcasters, even on YouTube, the roles that require effective communication and expression. So if you or if the parents listening to this, if your kids have a dominant Mrigashira Nakshatra in the D10 chart, maybe even in the D1 chart, it shows a dominance of expression, creative expression. What is broadcasting? What is YouTube? What is media? What is podcasting? What are all these things? These are creative expression of your voice, of the second house. I'm just throwing out all the things I can think of third house. Right? Mrikshirsha, because it's a hunter for wisdom, searching for wisdom, intellectual wisdom, and expression thereof, it becomes dominant. Next one, research and analysis. They may have a natural talent for research and analysis. They may excel as scientists, researchers, data analysis, and in roles that require problem solving and critical thinking skills. Critical thinking is different to just normal root thinking, right? In India, we hardly have any critical thinking development stuff going on. I wish I could participate in one of them. I would teach these kids critical thinking anyway. Arts and entertainment. They may have a talent for arts and entertainment industry. They may thrive as actors, musicians, designers, photographers, or in roles that involve creativity and self-expression. Marketing and advertising. May excel in marketing and advertising and careers. They may thrive as marketing managers, advertising executives, brand strategists, branding, how to make a brand out of a particular thing, or roles that involve creative marketing campaigns. Next one, they may also be good in counseling and therapy. They may have a natural inclination towards the counseling and therapy. They may excel as counselors, therapists, psychologists, or in roles that involve helping others because they can make an emotional connection, a mental connection, improve their mental and emotional well-being. How beautiful is that? Travel and hospitality. You can also become good in travel and hospitality, right? I think we need to move that a little bit up the screen. Okay. Travel and hospitality industry. They may thrive in careers related to travel and hospitality. They may excel as travel consultants. Tourism, the tourism industry, which took a huge hit in pandemic. Now it's opening up all around the world, right? So tour guides, hotel managers, resort managers, roles that involve in creating memorable experiences for others. How beautiful is that? So you can see the range of talents and abilities which Mrigashira Nakshatra itself carries, which can be applied to all of these, depending on what? Depending on all these planets and points, which we shall see house by house, like communication media, for example. Jupiter, Mercury, and Rahu are what you got to see where they are placed and how they relate to Mrigashira Nakshatra in D1 and in D10. Research and analysis. For those, you got to see the planets Mercury, Venus, and Ketu. Research involves going deep, digging deep. Ketu is the one who loves to go into deeper meanings, the moksha karaka. So Mercury, Venus, and Ketu. Look at how Mercury and Venus is playing out in everything. You know why? Even the dispositors of Taurus, which is Venus, and dispositor of Gemini, which is Mercury, of course, will have a role to play. You will see this in every nakshatra. That's how poetic Vedic astrology really becomes. Arts and entertainment. For those, you got to look at Venus, Mercury, Rahu, and Moon. Because arts and entertainment, there has to be some aspect of Rahu impacting these planets sitting in Mrigashira Nakshatra. For example, this is one example, right? If Rahu impacts one of these planets, Moon, Mercury, Venus, which is sitting in Mrigashira, now you want to hunt. And now you want to hunt big time, right? Or conjunction of Venus and Mercury and Rahu impacting that. Marketing and advertising, you got to look at Mars, Mercury, and Rahu. Why is Mars here? Well, marketing requires going after something. You have to have an outwardly directed energy. Mars gives you a direction of drive to move outward, drive to go and succeed, drive to put out this video. Mars requires the drive. If a person is not having too much drive, not too much extroverted, more like an introverted person, nothing wrong with that. It's just that you got to tune the profession likewise. Don't be critical of your children just because they are introverted. Please, they might be very sensitive, very good at something else. Everybody has a use and application and a place of bliss for themselves, for lack of better words. Okay. Next, if we have counseling and therapy, what kind of planets are we looking for? Rahu, Moon, and Mercury. The combination of this, especially sitting in the 8th house. One of these sitting in the 8th house in Mrigashira, Mercury sitting in the 8th house will want to look at secret matters. 8th house is the house of secrecy, right? Or even 12th house for that matter, right? More of spiritual inclination. Hidden things is 8th and 12th house. Or Moon there. Moon also will make you look for hidden things of spirituality, everything. Moon in 12th house, Moon in 8th house. And Rahu impacting that will want to dig deep. Rahu will provide the fuel. Think of Rahu as the fuel provider to whatever it's looking at, the 5th, 9th aspect and where it is sitting from. Travel and hospitality, what do you got to look for these planets? Again, Venus, Mercury, Rahu and Moon. The same combination as this, arts and entertainment and travel and hospitality, because it's about taking care of people in one form or the other. Travel and hospitality, maybe it may begin to come in the 9th house, right? If these planets sit in Rikshisha in the 9th house, because the 9th house is about long distance travel, right? Or if it comes in the 12th house, that's also long distance, foreign, abroad, working on cruise liners, that kind of a thing. You got to see all these aspects. But these planets are the ones to watch for. Now let's take it house by house and see where these guys land up, yeah? So in the first house, we got to take second and third house for the Aries ascendant. Again, I got to move this guy down, maybe a little compressed and downward. I think you can see that now better. Yeah. Okay. So second and third house. Why? Because of the pada difference. Some padas are in third house, some padas are in second house for the Aries ascendant, right? So we look at both. So if you have to look at the third house, what it becomes, Pierre Calais competition drive. Which of these professions requires competition, marketing and advertising? Okay. And Mars does very well in the third house. So that could be a profession. Second house. Second house is first value system and speech. Communication and media right there. Arts and entertainment. So you got to look at these combination of planets. If you are an Aries ascendant, and if in D10 and if majority of planets and points are in Mrigashira Nakshatra, which is Jupiter, Mercury, Rahu, or Venus, Mercury, and impaction of Rahu and Moon. This is what you got to look for, okay? For the Aries ascendant. For the Taurus ascendant, now we go to look at second and first house. Well, second house we already looked at, so let's look at the first house. Mrigashira falling in the ascendant. Now it's you, your personality. Remember what I told you, the rules? Whichever nakshatra falls in the ascendant sign in the D10 chart, those particular qualities, all of these qualities listed here, they will take to every other one. At least 80 to 90% of these qualities they will take to all careers, whichever career they choose to follow. So whoever you are, like supervisor, leader, you're supervising a whole bunch of people, right? Men and women working under you. You got to look for this stuff. I would start discarding that stupid CV or resume or curriculum vitae, and I would start taking the birth charts and start seriously look at them. How do you know what talent your people have? You might be ignoring most of the good things they have. If I'm in India, if I'm a really wise CEO, leader of a company, and manager, I would take a look at their birth charts and the D10 and what are you really good at? Seriously. Resume is all bullshit. Absolute bullshit. That says nothing about a person. People lie in their resume all the time, yeah? So in the first house, you will carry all of these qualities and you got to look at the placement of any of these planets in the ascendant and whether Rahu or Ketu is impacting them. Yeah. For the Gemini ascendant, it comes in the ascendant or it comes in the 12th house as well. The split of Mrigashira, the Padas. This is for Navamsha, but we are considering the similar one for the Shamsha. Okay. Suited for career. Okay. What is the 12th house? Working abroad, foreign travels. Again, we come to travel and hospitality industry. They can be good at that because it involves travel. 12th house, yeah. Working behind the scenes, counseling and therapy. People who go to counseling and therapists, these poor people, these beautiful people, they are working behind the scenes to straighten out the damaged minds of people, right? Famous actors, actresses, they come and show off on the camera. They might be screwed in their head going in the evenings to a counselor or a therapist. 9 times out of 10 true. Let it be politicians, let it be actors, actresses who people admire on Instagram, right? They might be screwed in their heads and going in the evening to a counselor or therapist, please sort out my mind. I can't stop the chatter, blah, blah, blah. Counseling and therapy, working behind the scenes. Moon in 12th house, for example, mark there, Rahu impacting that, and Mercury in 8th house. All these will give you aspects of a good counselor, a good therapist, psychiatrist, right? Those can come in there. For a Cancer ascendant, it comes in 12th and 11th house. So let's see 11th house, the Taurus. Okay, 11th house is for fulfillment of career, financial success, community, social network. Which of these careers is more of that? Communication and media. Why? Because 11th house is the house of social media. It is podcasters. It is this Ranveers of beer biceps. It is this Mita Prakash of ANI. It's all of these people, right? They are all making it and killing it in the YouTube world. Beautiful. So this is about social media and communications. Okay. So communications and media, you got to look at Jupiter, Mercury, and Rahu. And the aspects of. Remember, Jupiter and Rahu and Ketu both have fifth and ninth aspect from where they look, both of them. Okay. So even if the aspect is touching Mercury in Mrigashira, it will give them the ability to communicate with masses. What is social media? It's just communicating with a lot of masses, right? In its shortest form, that's all it is. For a Leo ascendant, now let's talk of for a Leo ascendant, the 10th house where Taurus falls. We've already covered the 11th house, similar one for 10th house. Now in 10th house, what happens? It becomes the Karaka. So you got to even watch where Saturn is playing. If Saturn is looking at the 10th house, let's say Saturn is sitting in the 4th house or looking at the 10th house, it becomes a Karaka, right? Of the career. So, but let's look at what is placed in Mrigashira. The 10th house is the house of type of relationships with your boss, authority, position, fame in career. What requires fame here? Again, communication and media, arts and entertainment. So look at these two sets of planets where they are deposited. If they are sitting in the 10th house for a Leo ascendant, and always again, remember Leo ascendant is about sun. So if the sun is placed in this house, they might get even the fame for it, right? Sun wants to give fame to whichever house it's sitting in. It's exalted in the 10th house because it's the highest position of the sun. Sun along with Jupiter or sun along with Mercury may give them fame and popularity. Okay. For the Virgo ascendant, it falls in, we're just considering Taurus now. Mrigashira falls in the ninth house. Ninth house again is for mentors working abroad and good luck. So we talked about traveling. So this will be travel and hospitality industry, the last one in this list, right? Marketing and advertising, kind of. Research analysis, not so much. Communication media, yes, could be possible. But again, they're not trying to communicate with the masses. It's not 11th house, it's ninth house. So let us just consider travel and hospitality might be a dominant career for these people. If you have more planets or points in Mrigashira in the ninth house for a D10 chart for Virgo ascendant, that might be it. Okay. Now, for the Libra ascendant in the D10 chart, which is ruled by Venus, now it is looking at the eighth house, again, which is ruled by Venus. Libra has a natural tendency to follow the eighth house. All Libran ascendants do. And in the D10 chart, it will tend to look at that as the career factor also. So you got to look at wherever Venus is placed in the chart. Although Saturn and Sun are the Karakas, but it depends upon these aspects also. Eighth house is for hidden stuff, hidden meanings. Ups and downs in career, joint assets, also hidden meanings of life. So I would put as counseling and therapists. Especially if Mercury is placed here, like I said, in Mrigashira, in the eighth house for a Libran ascendant, these guys can make excellent counselors because Libra is very caring about others. By default, they are caring people and they love to care and take care of people. Okay. So counseling and therapy, meaning Rahu, Moon, and Mercury placed in the Mrigashira, or Rahu aspecting Mercury and Moon combination in Mrigashira in the eighth house for a Libran ascendant in D10. There you go. Okay. Counseling and therapists. So in the seventh house, we see Scorpio as ascendant. In the Scorpio ascendant, we see Mrigashira coming in the seventh house as well as the eighth house. So I would guess the kind of careers this person would be good for would be counseling and therapy. Scorpios are good at that, right? Natural inclination towards exploration of hidden things is Scorpio ascendant. May have natural inclination towards counseling and therapy. They may excel as counselors, therapists, psychologists, or in roles that involve helping other people improve their mental and emotional well being. Now, you might want to place in this Mrigashira over here in seventh, Venus, or let's say even Moon, but in the eighth house, you need to place Mercury there in Mrigashira. Mercury in eighth house in Mrigashira in the sign of Gemini does very well in counseling and therapy. So you need some intellectual ability there also, yes? All right, so that's the Scorpio ascendant. For a Sagittarius ascendant in the D10 chart, you got to watch for where the ascendant is. Let's say it's in Mula Nakshatra, which wants to dig deep, right? There's a Mula Nakshatra over there. Not so much in Uttarashada or Purvashada. Just let's take Mula as an example. Mrigashira falls in seventh and sixth house. So I would think more in terms of career, these people would be good at research and analysis. Let's look at it. May have natural talent for research and analysis. They may excel as scientists, researchers, data analysts, or in roles that require problem solving and critical thinking skills. Why? Because seventh house is for others, everything pertaining to others. So if Mrigashira is there, it would want to search for aspects that involve others, as in what we take as others. And sixth house is the house of daily work. And Mrigashira there does well because it is uncovering hidden enemies, uncovering the subconscious. Sixth and eighth house are good for professions relating to counseling, research, and analysis, that kind of a thing, especially with nakshatra like Mrigashira. Okay. Because we are speaking of Mrigashira Nakshatra here. So you've got to consider what that will be good at in different houses. And ascendant here in this case in Mula would be really strong in that. Yeah. For the Capricorn ascendant, which is grounded, ascendant may be in Shravana Nakshatra or Dhanishta. In either case, the kind of professions that Mrigashira will have, which has gone into the fifth and the sixth house in this case, creativity combined with work. Let's look at it that way, depending upon where it falls in fifth or sixth house, these planets. I would think it's to do more with communication and media, especially Rahu influencing both Jupiter and Mercury in here. That would be very strongly creative. Yes, communications and media, creative roles as in arts and entertainment could be another thing. If there is Mercury, Rahu, Venus, and Moon combination, or aspects of Rahu from other places as well. Okay, remember the fifth and ninth aspect of Rahu plays a very dominant role here. So that could be another profession. And we got to look at ascendant also. If ascendant is in Shravana, which is all about learning, it could also be related to research and analysis, because this house is a house of education. Shravana is all about learning. So that could be another thing, right? In terms of career. So look at the ascendant nakshatra, look at the deities we spoke of, and then look at the house placements within the nakshatra in that particular house. That will give us the like a guidepost of where the career is going. So for an Aquarius ascendant, who is either in Shatabhisha Nakshatra or Dhanishta or Purva Bhadrapada. All these Aquarius is about other people, right? Any of these ascendants is all about other people. You got to see the degrees of the angle, gives us the deities and the inclinations. Now, Mrigashira for an Aquarius ascendant D10 falls in fourth or fifth, combination of heart and creativity. Again, it comes in arts and entertainment. It comes in communication and media. Not so much research and analysis. Could be also marketing and advertising, but you got to check. Arts and media, entertainment, photographers, actors, musicians, designers, roles that involve creativity, because we have Mrigashira in fifth house. If any of them are falling here, then of course it becomes more of creative energy. If it's combined with Venus or Mercury over here in the fourth house, it becomes creative. Venus is creative in the fourth house, becomes emotionally sensitive and creative. That's what's needed for a media person as journalists, writers, broadcasters, and so on. Yeah, we got to check that. Lastly, for a Pisces ascendant, it falls in second and third and fourth house. Okay, for second and third and fourth house is all about developing skill sets. Could be in terms of research and analysis if there is Ketu aspecting Mercury and Venus in Mrigashira over in these two places, especially Gemini in fourth house and Venus in the third house. And Ketu aspecting this particular aspect could give good research and analysis skills which the person possesses. Where they use it would depend upon where the ascendant is. Let's say if it's in Revati, for example, they would use it probably in software industry, like Elon Musk kind of, right? Elon Musk has a very strong Revati nakshatra. Or if you have Uttara Bhadrapada or Purva Bhadrapada, they might use it in terms of scientists, researchers, data analysts, that kind of thing. More of research and analysis, because third house is the house of skills. Okay. So that pretty much wraps up our Mrigashira analysis. Next one we shall be dealing with what comes after Mrigashira Nakshatra. After Mrigashira, Ardra. Let's do with Ardra Nakshatra next, the Manushagana. Okay. Meanwhile, take care, be safe.